because this whole show up no matter what culture, it's a trap. You are allowed to take care of yourself, friend. You are allowed to pause without quitting. And you are absolutely allowed to go silent so you can hear your own voice again. Welcome to At What Point, the podcast where we dive into the real, raw, and rewarding journey of personal and professional growth. I'm Catherine, your host, here to guide you through mindset shifts, powerful aha moments, and the resilience it takes to thrive no matter what life throws your way. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, taking the leap into entrepreneurship, or just looking for that boost of motivation, you are in the right place. Let's dive in. You're human, and it's okay to admit that you're tired. Not like I need a nap tired, but the kind of tired where you feel like you're drowning under the weight of everything. That's where I found myself a few months ago. And let me tell you, I didn't just need a break. I needed to disappear for a while. Not a cute little posting less season, not a hire a social media manager to keep things going while I rest. I mean an actual step back, a real pause. I needed time to breathe without trying to turn my every thought into content. I needed a space to exist without the pressure of being seen, responded to, or available. And I didn't want anyone else creating my content, not because they were not great, because I have had incredible help before, but because this brand, this voice, it's mine. It comes from me. I wasn't about to outsource the one thing that I still feel like mine when everything else felt out of control. So I disappeared from social media quietly. No announcements, no see you soon post, just gone. And here's the part people don't talk about. Even when you know you need the break, it's hard to take it because you feel guilty. You wonder who's going to notice, who's going to forget about you. You worry you will lose momentum, opportunities, connection. You wonder if a stepping back means you're falling behind. But let me be really honest. The only thing I was falling into was burned out. Every single day was a loop of working, housework, errands, caring for everyone else, my clients, my family, my teams. I don't resent any of it because that's who I am. I show up, I hold space, and I pour out. But I was pouring from a cup that has nothing left. I was holding everything together so tightly, I could hear myself cracking. And the wildest part, most people didn't even notice. Only a few people reach out to say, hey, are you okay? And I get it. Everyone's busy. Everyone's living their own lives. But it's wild how invisible you can feel when you stop producing, when you stop performing, when you stop being useful to other people. Meanwhile, on paper, everything looks great. Full roster of clients. And in my personal life, my husband and I made our first overseas investments. My son and my daughters were thriving. We were good. But inside, I was exhausted. Not because of the hard things, but because of the non-stop pressure that keep all going all the time without pause, without questions, without breathe. So I did what I had to do. I gave myself the gift of silence. I stopped taking new clients. I didn't post. I didn't explain. I focused on my current clients with care and I turned inward. I also started learning a new skills, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. I needed something that was just mine, something I was not sharing or monetizing, something that brought me back to myself. And here's the part I really want you to hear. I went on a mindset diet. I cut out the noise. I got back into my journal. I meditated. I stopped looking for motivation and started creating a stillness. And in that stillness, I found clarity. I hadn't felt in a long time. And here's what I learned. You don't need permission to step back. You don't need to ask for validation to disappear for a bit. You don't need to earn your rest. What you need is to notice when you are running out on fumes and give yourself the space to refuel. because this whole show up no matter what culture, it's a trap. You are allowed to take care of yourself, friend. You are allowed to pause without quitting. And you are absolutely allowed to go silent so you can hear your own voice again. I also realized something so powerful, and it's that there is magic in keeping some things to yourself. Not everything needs to be content. Not every dream needs to be explained. Some things are sacred. Sometimes the silence is where the transformation happens. So if you are in that place where everything feels like too much, where you are showing up for everyone but yourself, where you are holding it all together but barely, I want you to think about this. You don't have to crash to make a change. You don't have to wait for a breakdown to give yourself a break. Your body knows. Your spirit knows. That little voice you have been pushing aside, that ache you have been pushing through, it's speaking to you for a reason. You're allowed to take up a space just for yourself. You're allowed to unplug and still matter. And no matter what your faith or your beliefs are, there is a space for you in this world that doesn't require you to prove your worth through exhaustion. You don't need the algorithm's permission. You don't need to perform your healing from a timeline. You just need to listen to your own heart, to your own energy, to your own needs. Because at the end of the day, we cannot keep running on empty and expect to create meaningful life-giving work. We cannot pour into ourselves if we completely dry out inside. So let this episode be your permission slip, not to give up, but to pull back, to breathe, to recalibrate, to ask yourself, what do I need? And actually listen to the answer. And maybe you are not in the season to disappear entirely. And that's okay. But could you give yourself 10 minutes? Maybe an afternoon, a single day without pressure? Could you take yourself off the hook and just be? You're not lazy. You are not failing. You are not behind. You're human. And you're allowed to rest. That's not weakness. It's wisdom. Because the truth is, continuing to push through when your soul is asking for a stillness doesn't make you strong. It makes you disconnected. Disconnected from your body, from your values, from the version of you that's trying to come up for air. So let me ask you, at what point do you stop providing yourself to people who are not even paying attention? At what point do you slow down before your peace pays the price? At what point do you remember that your presence is powerful even in silence? You don't need to explain your pause. You don't need to perform your healing. You just need to honor what's true for you and trust that stepping back is sometimes the most courageous move you can make. Take the time, protect your energy, show up for yourself first, because that's where the real healing and the real magic happens. You got this, friend. Thanks for joining another episode of At What Point. I hope today's conversation sparks some inspiration for your journey of growth and transformation. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to visit katherinebeltran.com/podcast for show notes, special discounts on coaching packages, and freebies to help you keep moving forward. And last but not least, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a show. See you next time.